Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Well, today I'm going to be revisiting an all-time classic drone that I had laying around in my stash in the basement. This is the Heliway 903. I reviewed the 903 probably about 6-7 years ago on the channel. I'll try to, if I could find that video, link a card to it up here. It is an absolute fantastic drone. Now, I don't expect this video to get a lot of views, but some of you people who watch my channel now who didn't watch it back when my channel was really tiny have probably never heard of this drone or maybe even seen a drone that can fly this good, because this thing flies exceptionally well. And as great as the GPS camera drones have become in the last 6-7 years, I feel like the toy grade sector, which this falls into, it's actually taken a step backwards. This drone just flies great, and it's hard to find a toy drone that flies this good anymore, just, unfortunate. So this is just a little 1S power brush motor. As you can see, it's got direct driven props. They sit right on top of the motor. That's very efficient, and it makes this very quiet. As you'll see, it's very quiet and agile. Just a superb flyer. Now this is the S version. It had a Wi-Fi FPV camera in it. As I fly, I'll explain the little backstory of this and who sent me this. And this is the original one I reviewed, was just a 903. It didn't have the camera. And back whenever you would get a drone like this, not only was this a great flyer, but you get this full-size controller, which is also something you don't see with these toy drones anymore. The SEMAs also had full-size controllers. For an adult, it's just so much nicer than having some teeny tiny little controller. So this is just something you don't see as well. It's got, it's got 3 speeds, it's got 3D flips, and you'll see it has no altitude hold. So you have to be a little bit more cognizant of your throttle positioning, something that takes some practice, especially flying indoors. You'll slam this into the ceiling pretty quickly, because all the drones now have altitude hold, which just helps with the beginner, but it's whenever you fly it, it's harder to fly one of these drones. It takes a little bit more practice. So let's get this up in the air. I want to show you guys how well this flies, and I'll give you a little backstory on this drone. So to power this guy up, there's a little power button on the bottom. This is not really a review, obviously. Like I said, I reviewed it before, but you probably can't find this drone anywhere anymore. Let's see if I have the power on. It's kind of hard to see here. And then let's go ahead and turn on. Well, again, it's kind of hard to see. There's some green lights that come on here. Let's make sure I got the battery all the way in. And there we go. Now let's hold it. You have to quick press it. You hold it too long, it powers back off. Let's go ahead and set it down here. Let's go ahead and let me get my cameras flopping around on my head. Power it on, do your up, down, and then you're bound. And now we'll go ahead and go up. Now it has this dial. You can go up between the speed rates. I'll start out in the lowest rate. It's probably not easy to see here in the shadows. Let me get over here. Let's go ahead and give it some throttle. I flew it yesterday a couple times inside. The battery, being as old as it is, battery's still pretty good. And one thing I noticed when I crash this drone, it tends to power itself off. Nice slow yaw, very smooth. How quiet that is. Let's go up. Yeah, it's more agile. We go all the way up to 3 beeps. Look at that. Look how fast that thing is. It's just awesome. Look at that. This is why I can see why I absolutely just went crazy over this drone when I reviewed it. And you just can't, where are you going to find a drone that flies like this anymore? Look at the pitch. Now, yes, if you're a beginner with one of these drones, this is not going to be something you're going to be easy to fly, especially in the highest rates. We can go back down. Let's see if I can go down a rate. There's a bit of a headwind. The dial is a weird speed rate adjustment, and it kind of, the beeps can get confusing. I'm just going to leave it in the highest rate. This is what I want to be able to fight the wind. You can see some green lights in the back. There was some eyes that glowed here. I think they might have been white or blue. I can't remember. But those have all been removed because my friend John Coopy, if you follow Drone World, you probably have heard of John. He's very much into the FPV stuff and the racing quads and such. But he reviewed a lot of stuff back when I did these toys, and I had the original 903, and I absolutely loved it, and I gifted it to somebody else because I wanted him to see how well it flew. Then I was kind of bummed as well because I wanted the drone, and he had this 903S version, the Wi-Fi, and he sent it to me. And I don't think I ever made a video after that. I definitely flew it. But he had removed the Wi-Fi camera because it's just going to work with an app, and it's going to be a bit laggy, you know, as Wi-Fi is. And he put a little AIO camera in there that could power off the main board. So you have to remove those lights. And I think you just put a plug into the board there. And then you can use like some 5.8 gigahertz analog FPV goggles and fly this thing FPV, which I'm obviously not doing that today. The AIO camera is in there. And I certainly can put it in. You can see how much fun this would be to fly by FPV. But I wanted to record a video today and not fly it with goggles. So that's why I'm just flying at line of sight. But man, look at this thing. And even though it is not altitude hold and it takes a little bit more experience, it's just so agile. It's still not that hard to fly. Not stabilized, so obviously, you know, it's not a full acro or something like that. So obviously, it's not a true FPV drone. And I see it's fighting that wind pretty good. I mean, just a 1S LiPo, that wind, you can see how it's really hitting it, but I'm still able to keep my orientation. It just flies so great. It's so perfectly responsive with the controller. Like, you don't over yaw or under yaw whenever you're doing stuff and you're turning it. That it just, the controls, it's just so easy to keep your orientation. Even though I don't have the front lights on there, no FPV, I'm not losing my orientation. And just that blue canopy, you can see how it would be easy. You're not going to see those green lights unless you're right up like that. I can see them right there. You're not going to be able to look at it and keep orientation by just looking at lights or anything. So what I'm getting at is the controls are so good that a lot of these toy drones, you end up, the controllers are just not great. And you end up over yawing or under yawing, like when you're turning. So you end up, your orientation can get messed up because you tend to don't know, like as you yaw, it just isn't smooth like this one. So it's easier to get your orientation mixed up is what I'm saying, unless you have a bright light on the front or something to recognize, and this obviously doesn't. But it's just so smooth that I can just turn it and I know exactly how much I've yawed and turned, and I can just keep going and I don't have to worry about losing orientation. So this is a relatively small drone, but just look how fantastic this flies. And this is a drone, look at how you can do funnels really easy. Because again, it's just fantastic. And look how long this thing's, you know, for an old battery, it's flying great. Let's see if we can do a 360 flip here before we run out of battery. Hopefully we can. Let's see. It's possible too. Oh, the lights are flashing, I think. Yeah, I ran it too much. I mean, I don't expect it to fly as long as it would be if the battery's new. But yeah, it'll do 360 flips. I didn't test that because I was having so much fun flying. But you can see the green lights flashing. And when the battery gets low, it'll disable on all these drones 360 flips. Let's go ahead and land it in my hand. See, I didn't show the flips. Again, this isn't an actual review. I just wanted you guys to see what a classic drone like this, how it flies, and make, you know, the observation that you can't really find too many drones of this size, you know, direct driven props, just it flies like this. This is just fantastic. And I think anybody in the drone world that's been in it for a while would agree, is you just don't find many of these. I think this was sort of like the, was it Parrot Mamba or something like that? I think the Parrot brand that used to, you know, they went out, I think they went out of business. They had the Bebop, but I think they maybe made a little drone like this, which is a lot more expensive. Don't hold me to, but that's what I'm recalling. This is sort of based off of. But yeah, this is just fantastic. So obviously, I don't think you're going to find this drone anywhere. You might be able to find, hopefully, something similar somewhere, but I doubt that too. But I just wanted to show you guys that in the video today. So if you like videos like this and, you know, you stumbled across this, and, you know, stay tuned to the channel. I reviewed a lot of new stuff. Obviously, this is just one of those revisits. Well, you got to click the bell. That way you'll be notified when I do upload new videos. And as always, guys, Have a wonderful day.
The power of the dark side.